Wojciech Szczesny has named the only player he was actually scared to play against. The former Arsenal and Juventus goalkeeper, currently at Barcelona, has come up against some of the best players in the world during almost 15 years at the top level. But the 34-year-old says Lionel Messi was the one player he was always scared to play against. Messi, of course, is considered one of the greatest players of all time and is the most decorated player in the history of professional football, having lifted 45 trophies. In his 17-year spell with Barcelona, Messi scored a staggering 672 goals in 778 games, winning 10 La Liga titles and the Champions League 4 times. He bagged 8 Ballon d'Or awards during that period and enjoyed more success with Argentina, winning the World Cup in Qatar after lifting his first international trophy, the Copa America, in 2021. Messi, now 37, is winding down his career at MLS club Inter Miami after he spent 2 years at Paris Saint-Germain following his emotional departure from Barca. "I was always scared to play against Leo," Szczesny told Spanish outlet Mundo Deportivo. "There are probably other players who have scored more against me. But he was the only one I was actually afraid to play against. Because he was that good." Szczesny also said his penalty save against Messi during the Qatar World Cup was the most satisfying of his career. "The best or the biggest. That changes," the ex-Poland international added. "The most satisfying save was Messi's penalty in the World Cup, but it wasn't the best save in my career. The stadium and the rival made that moment very special for me." Szczesny made 181 appearances for Arsenal and helped the Gunners win 2 FA Cups before he was signed by Juventus in 2017 as a long-term replacement for legendary goalkeeper Gianluigi Buffon. The Pole lifted 3 Serie A titles and 5 domestic trophies in Turin before being released by Juventus at the end of last season, a decision that led Szczesny to announce his retirement. But Szczesny came out of retirement a month later after being approached by Barcelona, who needed a new goalkeeper after losing Marc-Andre ter Stegen to a serious knee injury. Discussing his surprising move to the new camp, Szczesny said, "When I received the call from Barca, when it became a reality, it felt different. The privilege I feel to wear this shirt is what made me change my mind, and nothing else. I don't think I would have done it for another club. It was probably fate." Barcelona have made a superb start to the season under Hansi Flick, winning 8 of their opening 9 league games to climb to the top of La Liga. Arsenal injury nightmare worsens as Brazilian star heads for MRI scan. Arsenal's injury nightmare shows no sign of ending amid news that Brazilian star Gabriel Martinelli has been sent for an MRI scan. The Gunners are back in Premier League action on Saturday with a trip to the South Coast to face AFC Bournemouth following the international break. Mikel Arteta may be without a number of his top stars for that clash, with Bukayo Saka picking up a hamstring issue while playing for England. Kai Havertz, meanwhile, pulled out of the Germany squad with a knee injury, and Martin Odegaard is ruled out until November. There are also still question marks over Ben White, Jurriën Timber, and Oleksandr Zinchenko ahead of the match against the Cherries. To make matters worse, Martinelli has now complained about pain in his right calf and is set to miss Brazil's clash against Peru. The 23-year-old winger came off the bench in Brazil's 2-1 victory over Chile on Friday. But he won't play against Peru after being sent for a scan, with Brazil's medical team set to continue monitoring the problem over the coming days. Martinelli has endured a sluggish start to the season for Arsenal, but football pundit and former player Darren Bent is backing him to turn his form around. "That's the biggest thing, confidence, in any football," Bent said on TalkSport. "It doesn't matter where you play, what level you play, if you haven't got the confidence, then your performances are going to drop." And when he hit 15 goals in 2022-23, he was magnificent. But can you back it up again? Because to go 2 seasons with those amount of goals and those amount of assists is difficult to do. He is working his way back, but you can see the confidence now slowly starting to come back. "I believe by Christmas time, he will be absolutely flying. His confidence will be flying, the numbers will be there, and it will be the Martinelli of old." Pep Guardiola names the team he wants to avoid in the Champions League. Pep Guardiola admits he's keen for Manchester City to avoid Barcelona in the Champions League this season. City, who were dumped out by Real Madrid in the Champions League quarter-final last season, have made a solid start to their new campaign in Europe with a draw against Inter and a 4-0 demolition of Slovan Bratislava earlier this month. The Premier League champions are due to play Sparta Prague, Sporting CP, Feyenoord, Juventus, Paris Saint-Germain and Club Brugge in their remaining European fixtures before the competition splits. Barcelona, meanwhile, were beaten by Monaco in their Champions League opener last month, but followed that up with a 5-0 win at home to Young Boys. And Guardiola says he is keen to keep away from his former club this season for sentimental reasons. During his appearance on Italian chat show Che Tempo Che Fa on Sunday evening, Guardiola was asked to name the team he wanted to avoid in this season's Champions League. Good question. Barcelona maybe, Guardiola replied. The affection I have for them destroys me. I was born in a small town nearby. It's never easy to play against them. Asked how he felt about the new Champions League format, Guardiola said, I don't understand, I just coach. I think we'll be able to answer this question only at the end of the season. Guardiola also paid tribute to Lionel Messi when asked how he got the best out of the Argentine during their time together at Barcelona. You have to know him, Guardiola said. For me, it's easy to say that he is the best player of all time, but the stars came together at that moment. Maybe it's a lack of respect for Pelé and Maradona, but for me, he is the best of all time. I've never seen someone like him in training. You couldn't imagine that he could maintain this continuity for 15 to 20 years. When you see him up close, you think of Tiger Woods or Michael Jordan. We were lucky to be contemporaries of these characters. I think of Sorrentino's The Great Beauty. It's a great title for that team.